That's a defense that really does a great job on 2nd 7+, making things really hard for you. So, one of our keys to victory, certainly on the offense side of the ball, is being efficient on first down, and the rushing game allowed us to do that.
Defense really played a huge role, Zach, in terms of complementary football
Yeah.
in that first half. 3 and outs, I think, the first 3 or 4 times they had the ball.
They set the tone. We wanted to follow up a performance like we had the last time we were at home of protecting our turf. We got a lot of home games here in the second half of the season coming up, so we want to be able to set the tone for that. And I thought our defense really answered the bell. The shutout in the first half, very few yards. I think they had about 80 yards through 3 quarters. And, we had the short field there to start the second half, which was disappointing. And we gave up the touchdown there. But aside from that, I thought that they really answered the bell today.
Why did you guys respond as well as you did the tough loss on Monday?
Again, because we were able to move past that quickly. It was easy to us to see why that game got away from us. No overreaction on our part. Just keep being the same group of guys, a group of men that we expect from ourselves. And we expected a performance like this today.
Why is Mixon capable of a game like he is, like the one he had today?
He got a great rhythm. And, again, that's a credit to him. He did a great job, making people pay when they were tackling him and getting those extra yards. And again, I thought the whole unit did a great job supporting him and giving him some really good opportunities that he took full advantage of and then some.
Any updates on Chris Evans or Dax Hill?
I don't know this. I don't know where it's going to stand. They'll have to do some scans, especially on Chris's knee, Dax's shoulder, and I think those are the two that we'll have to get some more information on.
What has it been like with Joe this year? He hasn't had as much production as he wanted. His efficiency hasn't been as good. How have those conversations gone between you and him, and how much does a day like today you feel like helped maybe open up the second half?
He's a captain for us, and so there's been some games we've had a style of play where we've relied on the passing game to be explosive and attack defenses and complement it with the run game. And we're looking, as we've stated many times, efficiency in our run calls. There's plenty of times there's been great opportunities for run looks where we pulled the ball out of his hand and thrown it for great gains. And so he just hasn't benefited maybe from some of those carries that have then turned into productive run alert throws. And we're not going to apologize for that, And obviously great players want the ball. He's a captain. He's handled this thing really well. A lot of these guys know that sometimes their number isn't called as much. But then there's a game that's going to smack them right in the face where it's games like this, TB a couple weeks ago. And, again, that's why we care so much about the character in this locker room of guys that understand the big picture of trying to win and be a great team.
How much can this change what you guys can be in the second half when you know that this is now a little bit more of a threat that you guys have a proof of concept of that can work for you guys?
I feel like we've always been, if you're talking purely offensive, a team that can be flexible from game to game. We're not afraid to pull the trigger on a type of plan that maybe is different than a style we've played before. I think we've proven that over the last 2 years that we can we can adapt to different plans, and guys buy into it and understand it. And some games receivers, man, they're going to catch a lot of balls for a lot of yards, and other games we really need them to block their tails off, and be detailed in the run game. And I think those are things that you got to have if you're going to have the type of season that we want to have. And our guys understand that and have done a great job responding when needed.
At some point last season, there was a point where you can kind of gauge, smell with the way the game was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
The way Monday night evolved and with the protection and the kind of team you're facing Carolina, was there a sense that this might be a game where you put it on the running?
Yeah, again, we don't. It was clear for us to see why that game got away from us and move on from it, So again, this is an easy job responding for this group because we just didn't play well enough last week, and it was plain and simple. And unfortunately, we had that performance. But I knew that these guys would be able to regroup the right way and be focused on this game and know how important this was going into the bye, and just focusing on the next game. That's what's so important right now across this league is just to focus on the next game, not look down the horizon at what's to come, but just focus on being a great team and focus on finding that next win.
How important was the start that you get off to? You go 9 plays, 90 yards right from the jump to kind of set the tone?
Right, and that was the challenge to our team was whatever unit starts first, set the tone for the game. And the offense happened to start first, and they set the tone, and the defense immediately responded, I think, with the 3 and out, if I'm not mistaken. And so that is the performance that we needed, versus a young quarterback that's getting, one of his first couple starts. You want them to have to play from behind and be able to adjust that way. And so I was really proud of the team for the approach that they took and they delivered with.
Because of how automatic
Come back, yeah.
he was last year.
Say that again.
I said because of how automatic he was last year, I guess you could say it's kind of weird to see Evan McPherson miss 2 field goals in back-to-back games well within his range. What do you think's going on with Evan?
We'll just have to look at it. I've got a lot of confidence in Evan that he'll be able to respond the right way.
What about Joe enables him, even when things aren't going his way throughout the year, Mixon, to be able to have the kind of game that he did? What about him?
He always shows up on game day. He's practices his tail off. That's always been consistent since as long as I've known him. I'm sure well before I've been here. And on game day, he always cranks it up and he's ready to go.
What do you think of the difference between this 5 and 4? What do you think the difference between this 5 and 4 and last year's 5 and 4 going into this?
It's a very similar situation. You're in the mix and you just got to take it one game at a time. And there's still a long season yet to go. I know it's at the halfway point now, but again, we just got to be very narrowly focused on our next opponent, which is Pittsburgh. First of all, just recovering this week, and just making sure we're rested. Hopefully, start to get some guys back a little bit, and then start to make this run. Starting with Pittsburgh, big divisional game. Obviously, we haven't taken care of business in the division, which is always key, and so it's a great opportunity to get that on the right track.
Does the 5 and 4 this year feel a little better just because you have a win going into it versus?
I don't know. I can't really put myself back in the shoes of last year. I know the situation. We lost 2 in a row and had a tough divisional loss going to the bye. I don't remember how I felt, but I think our guys are in a good place right now.
How do you feel now?
Well, I'm just glad that we took care of business. That's the biggest thing coming in this game. It's a dangerous football team. They've got a lot of change going on, and that frees them up to an extent to be aggressive in some areas. And so you're always ready for some unscouted looks and some situations they could throw at you. So I was glad that our team came out and set the tone and established dominance really in that first half.
I think
Going
it's
back
a
to
small sample size, but the secondary, in terms of their demeanor, happy with kind of how they held up and handled themselves, especially the starters, obviously.
I think so. From what I saw Eli do a great job knocking the ball out. I saw Cam contest some throws, Jalen trying to make some plays on some balls. Again, we'll watch the tape and clean it up, see how consistent it was. But first glance, I thought it was pretty solid.
Going back to the rhythm that you mentioned, how nice was it with Trent Nerone and Trent Taylor getting involved? How much more balance did that give you guys that they were stepping up when their number was called?
I think, that's that room in general. We move those guys around a lot. The personnels were not so easy to handle. I was late getting a couple of them in, which was stressful for those guys, knowing where to line up because we moved them around so much. But Troy's done a great job all week, and Brad, making sure that they're aware of how we're going to utilize them, what their role is going to be. And then they did a great job maximizing it with their performances.
That game balls?
The turnover guys, Jermaine and Jesse, and then Mixon. Obviously, the franchise record, 5 touchdowns, 211 yards. Awesome performance by him.